All right, ladies and gentlemen, we here back Monday doing the Down Under Football Crew. The boys from Australia. Well, I got to admit, we're a bit tired. We are very tired today because obviously the Arsenal versus Chelsea game was quite late. By the time it finished, by the time all of us did our grind that we normally do, which is reviews and podcasts and writing articles that RJ does, we are a bit buggered, but we've made it. We've made it. We've promised that every Monday, UK time midday, we'll be here. And the live chat is buzzing already. So many people lined up, which is great to see. We're going to have a top show. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Of course, Lukaku bullying Arsenal. How can we not talk about that? We will talk about that. But before we get into all of that, first of all, Scott, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty knackered, my man. It's been a rough day for me. I was telling you guys before the stream. I set my alarm for maybe 1:10 for the game. I haven't slept since. I stayed up after the game. I wanted to watch the reactions. We had a show, did some uni work. But you know what? Down Under Football Crew, Monday night, this is the place to be, even after a poor result.
That's right. You better be here. You better be here. RJ, my man, you've been doing madness this weekend as well. The hours you're clocking up, writing articles along with the podcast. I mean, yeah. How you holding up, my man?
Yeah, I'm like you boys. We're battling fatigue, but we're soldiering on. We do it because we love this stuff, and we're going to get some good rest after this. But after the high octane weekend that was, it keeps us motivated, and we keep on keeping on, as they say. But happy to celebrate a fine Chelsea win, but just a great action around, just in general. So pleasure to be here, boys.
100%. As we said, we're gonna have a top show. The energy will build up as we continue with this show. We're gonna get into some fine topics. So there'll be a lot to digest. And live chat, as always, would love to hear your comments on every topic that we raised today. But before we get into all of that, first of all, I want to give you guys a shout out. Sudasan, thank you so much for joining. You're always here, one of the big time supporters of this channel. Thanks so much for being here. Declared, my man, is here. Yusuf is here. Bonolo is here, undoubtedly. Taha Deb is here, and many others, nearly 30 people. First of all, guys, smash the like button. Get it up to 30 likes straight away. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. And also make sure the pin message. I've got the boys and their YouTube channel. It's a football thing. Podcast YouTube channel. The link is right there on the pin message. All you got to do is just click on it. It'll take you to their page and just subscribe. And you guys have been seeing the boys on a regular basis now. So let's get subscribing, guys. Let's get subscribing. All right. Without further ado, let's get the show rock and rolling. I love that.
I love that intro.
I love that intro. I love it so much.
Get you pumped. What will get you pumped? That's all I'll say.
Absolutely. If that doesn't get you pumped, nothing will get you pumped. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first topic that we need to talk about, undoubtedly, is Romelu Lukaku. I mean, what a performance he's put on. Chelsea debut the second time around, of course. But it was just, for me, I personally felt it was utter dominance. I know in the second half, Arsenal sort of came around a little bit, but I was never worried. I really was never worried. Like you can tell sometimes that, oh man, this team is coming back, and you feel a bit worried, a bit strange about it. Like, okay, for example, Villarreal, the second half, I got to say, I was getting worried because I felt like there were some proper threats with Jared Moreno, Alberto Moreno as well. I thought, man, if we can just hang on and hopefully we do the trick in the penalties. But against Arsenal, I was like, yeah, okay, you're putting some pressure, but I'm not bothered. I'm really not bothered. I just felt like we were in cruise control. I'll go to Scott straight up. Scott, I mean, how are you feeling? Because I watched whole heap of Arsenal content after actually the match finished because I couldn't go to bed straight away. So I watched Troops, I watched Arsenal Fan TV, I watched Mo, and pretty much the consensus was they weren't all happy. There were one or two fans that were like, you know what, it was expected. We expected to lose against Arsenal. We'll see what happens after the City. It's, you know, the crazy part is, Scott, it's like you guys are expecting a loss against Chelsea and Arsenal, that Chelsea and Man City. That's what I can't understand from the fans, that there were some fans are like, yeah, let's judge after the City game. I'm like, well, I mean, are you okay with that? I mean, Scott, take it away, man.
Misery, you and me have this back and forward all the time. I don't understand how you guys can't clearly see that you are a cut above us at the moment. We're in the Premier League together, but we're not in the same league. Like you're in that top tier at this point, challenging for a title. You're the champions of Europe. You should have come into the game full of confidence. You should have felt confident during the game. We're not there. We are in a process. We're in a big rebuilding process. Do I think Arteta is the man to guide that process? Time will tell. I'm certainly not feeling favourable about it at the moment, but
let's be honest about it, Scott. Like, if Arteta, what's your next game? West Brom?
No, man, we've got West Brom in the cup. Then we've got Manchester City.
So the West Brom one, apparently West Brom haven't lost a game in the championship. Apparently they've got like 2 out of 2 or 3 out of 3 or something like that. If Arteta doesn't win that, for some reason gets knocked out, surely, Scott, that Arsenal Football Club cannot
they won't sack him.
Wow.
We are not Chelsea. We're not ruthless. And this is what I said, because I had some time, obviously been up since 1:30, haven't slept. I jumped on the Football Terrace for a quick reaction, and that's exactly what I said on there. I said, we are not a ruthless club. And until we become a ruthless club, we can't expect ruthless performances. We're not ruthless at the moment. We're toothless. Like we've not got a whole lot. I mean, look, we couldn't start Aubameyang. I thought we looked much better when he came on.
He looked good, yeah.
We were missing Lacazette. Ben White, one of our biggest signing this window, wasn't there. Like, no, we don't have the depth that Chelsea have. We're not the champions of Europe. We're not a Champions League team. And I said this to you guys last week. You should have won the game. You should be beating us. If you're genuine title contenders, you should beat us. Brentford did. But I feel like with Arsenal at the moment, there's just a helplessness. I don't look at any fixtures the way I used to back in the days when we were in Highbury and when we first
you'd be like, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win.
3 points. It'll be tough. Draw 3 points, we'll see.
Oh, it's like loss, maybe loss.
Here's a stat for you guys, and I'm sure the Chelsea fans will enjoy this. Out of 60 Premier League games, Arteta has lost 20. Sorry, maybe not Premier League games, but out of his first 60, he's lost 20. Yeah, and he has equaled Premier League losses in his first 2 years that Wenger had over his last 6 years. And Wenger's last 6 were rough. So Arteta, unfortunately, seems to be we have all the wrong records under Arteta and this management at the moment. I want him to turn it around, because for him, I'm looking at it morally and ethically, you never want to see anyone struggle. Yeah. And looking at him on the sideline, he looks forlorn. He looks like a shade of who he was. So I don't like seeing him struggle, but ultimately, and you guys saw this when you ruthlessly sacked your club legend, you've got to make the big calls if you want to be a big team. So, yeah, I'll hand over to you, Chelsea boys, to bask in your glory.
I mean, before I go to, I just want to ask another quick question. The protest, seems like there was no protest. So do you know any stories around that? Apparently some fans were going in there. I saw Turkish post-match in the Arsenal Fan TV saying, well, he rocked up for the protest, but there was no protest. So what's the deal with that? That was like so much advertised that there was going to be this big protest. I mean, I don't know if I can even take sometimes like if the Arsenal fans are serious about it either. Like any news around that front, Scott?
No news. Josh Kroenke was at the game. So what better time to have sent a message than when Josh Kroenke's there, because the Kroenkes don't rock up all that often.
Yeah.
But yeah, it fizzled, mate. And I've been doing so many shows recently, I can't even remember if it was here that I said it, but the fact that it fizzled only empowers the Kroenkes. It only strengthens their resolve that the fans aren't going to stick to their word. That they'll make a little bit of noise and they'll get there. There's a few comments I've seen in the live chat. Few people giving me some big ups and saying they feel sorry for me. Thanks, mate. You know what would cheer me up? Not that Chelsea fans want to cheer an Arsenal fan up, but on the IFT pod, we are currently at 341 subs. Your good deed for the day can be getting us to 350. You're not just helping an Arsenal fan, you're helping RJ too.
Let's do that.
Sub.
Let's do that, ladies and gentlemen. Cheer up, Scotty. Go there and subscribe. I mean, RJ, let's talk about Romelu Lukaku. My days, what a debut. Oh my God, RJ. Everything he was doing, attracting. I mean, we said it. We said this in the preview. He's going to be attracting defenders, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. I mean, Reece James was just opening acres of space because Lukaku just had everyone in a bit of a spiral web. And then obviously Havertz had so much freedom as well. I think he enjoys not having his back against the defenders and just look up and you see the big man just taking care of everything. Mason Mount similarly as well. Alonso as well. RJ, how'd you feel about that match? But that was a proper bully job from my perspective.
Yeah, and I'd take my metaphorical hat off to Tuchel and Big Rom, because as people in the live chat that have been following our previews and read any of my tweets or articles, I was quite vocal in saying that I thought the inner conservatist in me wanted him to be injected in at some point throughout the match and not start, not because of his physical condition, but whether or not it was appropriate that he be thrown in the deep end without really having time to refine and understand the system. But given his world-class abilities, he's someone that's taken the bull by the horns and really took the game by the scruff of the neck and made it his own. And what I really liked about him was that he wasn't passive. He made sure that he was going to leave his mark on that game. And the goal was nice, right? Like, it was just what I really liked about his goal was the involvement he had in the build-up. As you will recall, Kovacic played that really direct pass to him, trapped it perfectly, pulled Mari out, laid it back. Kovacic laid that pass off, to Reece James. Reece James does a low cross.
No, it was Kovacic to Reece James. Mount was
Kovacic
the second
and
one.
Mount to thing later on. Yeah. But basically, that low cross was just instinct from him, building up straight into the run, knowing that he's going to be there and get the ball. So, and that's all on a few days of training. Imagine when he has a few weeks and a few months. So he's just a strong contributor that's more than a one-trick pony. And Scott knows this, and he appreciated it to his credit. What I like in particular about Big Rom is that he changes the focus of our attack from creating overloads and just trying to rely on fluidity of the front three to being able to play the long ball, go direct in the middle, or he'll drop into a channel, he'll pull defenders apart and allow the likes of Reece James or Alonso on the left-hand flank to be able to find that space. So all up, a fantastic debut, but a strong performance against a pretty uninspiring Arsenal. I felt they started off the game reasonably well, brought some energy, were thriving off the Emirates atmosphere. But once that first goal went in, it felt like their heads dropped. You know what I mean? And that to me is a symptom of a team that's just lacking that confidence and belief that we're going to get back into this game. Sure, the second half, they showed a little bit of spirit, but that's, I believe, partially attributed to the fact that we took our foot off the pedal ever so slightly. So, yeah, a professional job, 3 points, and righting the wrong of previous head-to-head results against Arteta's men.
Boys, the thing like in our show before, sorry to jump in, Miz.
Yeah, of course. That's all right.
when we did our preview and we talked about the Arsenal perspective, you heard me say I wanted us to play 3 at the back. Yeah?
Yeah.
We went with the back 4, and the big problem and what Lukaku did so well was having him up there drew in Murray and Holding.
Yep.
So we had someone on the left, someone on the right, and 2 centre backs on one man. So that then created massive gaps for guys like Havertz to push forward, guys like Mount to push forward. He is going to honestly revolutionize your game. He is a class signing, absolute class signing. I'm envious that we don't have a player like Lukaku, because he's going to, and it's scary for me as an Arsenal fan, but he's going to take you to the next level, because he was absolute class this morning. He bullied them. He did. Bro,
I've got a video because as soon as I woke up, when I did wake up earlier this morning, Ryan from this particular channel who does the tactical analysis with me. So I've got a show with him on a regular basis now. After the match, we break down the match as to how we won or whatever has happened. The stuff we went through today, and the video will drop, ladies and gentlemen, later tonight UK time. It's a pre-recording, so later on I'll have that scheduled for a drop. Honestly, Scott, it's exactly what you said. Lukaku, him drawing the Rob Holding and Mari, which then leaves Mount and Havertz on their own. Then you've got your fullbacks, Tierney and Cedric. They get then drawn into Mason Mount and Havertz. Then what happens is Reece James and Alonso are opening acres of space, like literally no one to mark them. Because when you take 2 players out with one Lukaku, and there was some stage, Scott, I saw Lukaku draw 3. And I'm like, dude, that's insane, because that opens up all of these other players.
He was unreal. He was unreal,
But it's a tough one, isn't it, Scott? Like, because just on that, your legend, Tony Adams, this morning was talking about how he would have played a higher line, made sure he was offside, or they wouldn't have been as tight on him, because you're going to lose the 50-50s with him. And perhaps it would have been better to give him that yard of space to get the ball, then go and commit to the challenge. So I'm quite keen to see Liverpool next week, and then subsequent teams, knowing that he's a physical specimen. How do you go and contain someone that's at the peak of their powers now? That's going to be the real challenge.
You've got a different beast at Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk is no Pablo Mari and Rob Holding. It will be a big test of what Lukaku can do. But you know what? It was only his first game. So I'm not expecting him to dominate the same way he did against Arsenal, but even still, give him a few games, he'll get there. And quick shout out to Reece James. About time there's a decent RJ in the Chelsea community.
The real RJ.
He
was
unbelievable.
He was brilliant.
Ruthless as well. And there's been some rumors, is he going to play wing back? Is he going to play RCB? There was rumors that maybe RCB, but now I think with Lukaku and he was giving the instructions to play as a winger, Reece James, which wasn't the case last season. This season, Thomas Tuchel, there was a reason why we were after Hakimi, we were after Adama Traore at one stage, because we wanted that purchase from the right side, and it looks like Reece James has taken on board that instruction, and he's going to hopefully try and play more as a right winger as opposed to a right wing back, which was very, very good to see.
And that's for the reasons you spoke about, Miz, because like you said, it's a chain effect. Romelu, or whoever the striker was, pulls in the initial centre backs. Then the outside wings will come in and tuck into the inverted forwards or the people in the front three, and therefore that leaves the acres of space for whoever's in that right wing back spot, or the winger, whoever's playing there. So it all ticks, if you know what I mean.
100%. I mean, Scott, you touched on the next beast, Van Dijk, because that is the game for us next up. But we're not going to talk specifically about that game. We're going to talk about Burnley, Liverpool 2-0. I watched that game completely. For me, Mr. Van Dijk is back. I know a lot of people gonna say, but Moose, that's Burnley. No easy team in the Premier League, mate. No easy team in the Premier League. I'll tell you this much. Burnley at times, and this is the thing though, Scott, Liverpool, they still play with that little bit of that risky sort of football where their fullbacks bomb up. Their entire game is based on Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. I know Robertson wasn't there; it was Tsimikas. Their midfield is not the way our midfield operates, which is possession based, and our midfielders are the ones that are the conductors. You can call them the maestros in a musician sort of scenario. Whereas Liverpool's midfield is one touch, bypass the midfield, straight to the wings, and create chaos with Salah,
rock
Mane.
and roll. It's rock and roll football. Man.
It's rock and roll football, right? And their playmaking happens from their fullbacks a lot. Now, there were instances where Burnley did break through behind Tsimikas or behind Trent Alexander-Arnold, but both Van Dijk and Matip, oh my days, they were so strong. Two of them together. Van Dijk himself is just strong. He can take care of any sort of situation. 1v2, and he'll be able to negotiate that. And then Matip was fantastic as well. I mean, what did you find out? What do you think of Liverpool's performance? Obviously, up front, they're always rock and rolling with Salah, Mane, Jota. What a purchase! What a purchase for Liverpool. But what do you think about their performance, man?
Yeah, look, I managed to catch that game, which was good. It was at a Australian friendly time.
Yeah.
But man, you've summed that up so well, Miz, quite frankly. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on Liverpool this season because they've forgotten how much Virgil van Dijk changes that team.
Yeah.
Now, there's no advantages to losing your best defender for a season, but one thing that Liverpool have, at least in the initial parts of the season, are that element of surprise that people have slept on them because they've forgotten how good this Liverpool team can be. They were champions of Europe not long ago and Premier League champions. So I'm really, from a neutral, because the ideal scenario would be both teams manage to somehow lose. But I'm looking forward to this Chelsea-Liverpool game because it's just going to be brilliant. I think Thomas Tuchel and Klopp have very different philosophies. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when those philosophies collide. So will be a cracker. But I think Liverpool will give you a run for your money. You can't sleep on them. They're not Arsenal.
That's for sure. RJ, I was going to ask you as well. I mean, I'm not too scared, though. I'm not scared. I feel like, yes, Mane, Salah, Jota, or whoever, Firmino, whoever plays, our backline's solid. Our backline is so solid. The way we defend is brilliant as a unit. And I think we can get them again because I've seen enough in that Burnley game where Trent Alexander-Arnold and Tsimikas, I know Robertson probably will be back, they give enough opportunities in the back. Now, whether they tweak their game a little bit to not be exposed in that manner, where their midfielders maybe drop into those areas, but RJ, I'm not too worried. I feel like, yeah, let's go there, let's have a good game and see if we can get the 3 points. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, the mentality is different now. Like Liverpool deserve respect because they've earned it, but equally respect will be given to us because we've earned it as well. And it's something where, had you asked me that last season at the start or even the season before, going to Anfield, what would my stance be? I'd be like, yeah, naturally I'm going to be very, very nervous. But now, while I'm nervous about the game, I'm equally intrigued to see just how our approach is because we bullied Arsenal, we bullied Crystal Palace in the first game, but with respect to both of those teams, they're not at the same caliber as Liverpool right now. So, and we know Liverpool, the type of play, like I said, the rock and roll football, I believe that we are going to enjoy less possession, will probably somewhat invite that false sense of security and allow Liverpool to come and hang around a little bit in our area and really thrive off the pace on the counter-attack with the likes of Timo, Havertz, Lukaku. So I'm actually very interested to see just how we go and nullify that very fast-paced Klopp-style attack. But definitely going to be match of the round and can't wait to unpack it as we get closer to the game.
100%. I mean, Scott, I know we touched a little bit on Lukaku versus Van Dijk. I'm 100% looking forward to this, and I don't think Lukaku will always have his way with Van Dijk the way he had his way against Mari and Rob Holding. But I feel like Lukaku is in a different element now. Like, he's not the same Lukaku that was playing for Man United. He's learned so much in Italy, the technical ability, that physical, sort of how to actually execute his physical presence. I mean, I know Van Dijk is a superstar in the Premier League, but he'll be respecting Lukaku as well, I feel like.
Oh, it's going to be an absolute gargantuan clash between. You would tune in just to watch the battle between those two. You're right that this Lukaku is not the same Lukaku. Of course, this new Lukaku scores his first ever Premier League goal against Arsenal for Chelsea, that is. I'm glad new Lukaku is here to stay. But it's going to be a big battle. I think there'll be plenty of mutual respect between two players that are absolute combatants. Like they will both relish the challenge and not back down. And as a neutral, like I said, absolutely pumped to see who gets the better of who, because quite frankly, don't like either of you. So let's see what happens.
And we don't like you either. Make no mistake.
Brilliant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 110 almost live. First of all, I know you guys are enjoying because you're hanging around and you guys are commenting. You guys are very excited. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. Get those likes up to well over 100. The likes, as I've always stressed, a direct correlation in the growth of this particular channel. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe as well. And make sure, check out the pinned message and subscribe to the boys, Scott and RJ, their YouTube channel. It's a Football Thing podcast. They do amazing content there as well. So go and follow them. The lads are here every Monday on this particular channel as a collaboration with the other side of the coin. And it's a Football Thing. But at the same time, go and follow them as well, please, as a request. All right, let's now talk about Man United dropping points to Southampton. I mean, Scott, let's go to you. You seem very excited about this.
You're excited now.
I needed something to smile about. Hey,
that's another match that I watched completely because obviously Tino Livramento situation, ex-Chelsea Academy and whatnot. But I must say, Southampton played good. Tino Livramento definitely played very good. I think this guy's going to be a superstar, undoubtedly. But I have to be honest, second half, Man United, they were in control. They really were. Pogba was coming into his element. There were a few times where he opened things up, but they just couldn't have the finishing. Southampton defended well as well, let's be honest. So it goes both ways. I am still worried about this Man United team, Scott, because I know I've been disrespecting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot, but I'm feeling something different, Scott. I don't know if it's just me. I want to hear from your side as well. I sense Pogba, he's looking for the big fish this season. He really is pushing, because that's now 2 games I've seen now. Leeds, where his 4 assists was just out of the world. Against Southampton as well, as I said, second half, he was really coming into the frame. I mean, how'd you see that game, Scott?
Look, admittedly, I kind of dozed through parts of it, so I was kind of watching it through broken sleep. But from what I saw, you're right. United were on top in the second half, but take it from an Arsenal fan who watched us in the years of 70% possession but not bringing home any points. It doesn't matter. To me, possession is overrated. What you need is productive possession that you actually do something with. There's no point having the ball if your intention is not to score or to keep it away from the other team so they can't score. Now, when this game's tied like it was, United needed to push and score. With their squad, with what they've spent, they need to be aiming higher and beating the Southamptons of the world. And to me, that's where a genuine title challenger, right, shows that they're in that next tier. You need to be able to play against the low block. And Southampton were quite defensive then, and rightfully so. They're not going to go out and play, Joga Bonito, total football against United. So if you want to challenge for a title, you need a manager who can unlock that. Yeah, exactly what's said here. And that's where I think you guys are lucky. If you put Thomas Tuchel in charge of that Manchester United squad, they would be
He's doing madness.
They would be a hell of a lot better. I think their biggest flaw is Ollie. I feel like Ollie's got the best boots. He's got the best soccer boots in the street. He's got the brand new ball. He's got the greatest kits, but he's the worst player on the team. So like, and then someone else rocks up that's got holes in their boots, their jerseys all dirt, but they're still the best player on that team. Ollie's got the best toys, but doesn't know what to do with them. To me, honestly, he's holding them back.
100. I mean, look, I think I'm just getting a bit scared because of the individual performances. I mean, one I do need to bring up, RJ, I'll go to you on this one. Mason Greenwood. I've said this, RJ, a lot of times, even last season. And I know there's a lot of Chelsea fans in this live chat right now. Whether you agree or not, it's up for debate. But RJ, I've got to say, Mason Greenwood is, for me, probably one of the most talented youngsters in the Premier League, undoubtedly. And I think he's probably someone that we kind of expected Callum Hudson-Odoi was going to be, at that level. I feel like Greenwood is far, and you could probably argue maybe they don't play the same positions. Greenwood is probably more of a striker, not really that winger kind of player like Callum, but Greenwood, his technicality, and you can already see how ruthless he is in front of the goals. I mean, immense. What are you going to say about Mason Greenwood, RJ?
Yeah, first of all, we're Chelsea fans, we're Arsenal fans, we're everybody but United fans, but there's absolutely no shame in calling a great player when you see one. And I think Mason Greenwood, like the Mason we've got, it's almost like it's a Mason thing at the moment in terms of these players. He's really elevated his game, and I actually really like the comparison you drew with Hudson-Odoi because he was the great hope, wasn't he, for a couple of years now, where we've been really clinging on to the prospect, and we're pushing him to get there. Come on, Callum, we know you can do it. Bayern Munich want to buy for 70 million, so you must be good, sort of, rhetoric. But the brutal reality is that Mason Greenwood, and I know they're not apples and apples because of the positional differences, but he has accepted the responsibility of stepping up into one of the top clubs in the world in a position that's going to get really scrutinized because those that score goals and there's those that don't. And he is a goal scorer, not just a goal scorer. He's a hustler. He's someone that he's just got this aura about him. He's got that pace and he's got that rawness about him that, we see him now at this very young age. And I'm only thinking, what kind of player is he going to evolve in the next 3 to 5 years? Because put it this way, when we look back on this video and then we fast forward in 5 years' time, the name Mason Greenwood's going to be just a staple in the Premier League and just how important he is for his club. Hopefully it's not at United because he will definitely strengthen them. But for me, he had a strong game. Yes, he missed that header that narrowly went over the bar, but he's a fine-looking prospect. And in terms of your point, Scott, about Ollie having the best boots, best shin pads, best gear, but doesn't know how to do a simple 5-yard pass. Look, my judgment, I'll reserve it for later because we don't want to be too reactionary as well. It's a second game in. Everybody was tooting the trumpet last week when they won 5-1. I know you weren't specifically, but I'm saying people, they tend to fluctuate week to week. Now, if they go and get another bad result against a team that they should be, because they really should have won that game. Yeah, Southampton missed that clear-cut chance from Armstrong, that one-on-one, which was poor from Maguire. I believe he lost possession, if I'm not wrong. It could be Lindelof. Yeah. I can't remember. I think it was Maguire.
And then anyway, I think Van der Sar pulled out a really good save.
Yeah, of De Gea, sorry. And then he actually pulled a crack.
How many years am I behind?
I know. But just in general, look, Saints defended well. earned their point, but United probably should have got there in the end. And on another day, they celebrate a hard-earned victory, and then the narrative's about Ollie grinding out a tough victory. So it's a little bit early to start saying that. I don't know.
This isn't a new thing, though, Arj. I mean, Man United...
But it's only a new team. He's got new players this year. And if he doesn't get the best out of his new players...
But they're better players too. I mean, under Ollie, they have produced some moments where they've done a madness. Like they've done some brilliant results. But then they also have those shockers. Yeah, then until they're kind of a more consistent football team, I just don't know if someone like Ollie is the man to do that. Like, but it's hard. It's hard. Oh, look,
you know what, boys? You know what, boys? If he's unable to do it this season, then
he's gone.
Then it's it. Because I don't think after this season, if he's not won something at least, I don't know whether he wins the Premier League. I think
it might not even be controversially. He might not even last the season, depending on how far off they are in terms. Because look at the reality: City, Chelsea, and themselves, and you probably group Liverpool now in that conversation again. If United aren't within arm's length of a title charge by Christmas time or New Year, surely that's got to have alarm bells ringing, especially given who they've brought in. So,
I agree.
You just don't know.
Rafael Varane, who supposedly should be strengthening their defense along with Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire apparently touted to be one of the best defenders in the Premier League, right? I mean, each to their own. I personally think he's okay, but whatever. He's one of the best ones out there. Rafael Varane is absolute superstar of a defender. Whether he's past his peak, you can argue about that as well. But let's be honest, he's a superstar defender from Real Madrid who's won everything. He's got all the experience. Jadon Sancho, I mean, one of the most up-and-coming youngsters in world football. So, yeah, and there's still talks that they may add another midfielder. They've got no excuse. If they get knocked out from the Champions League as well in the group stages and they end up being in the Europa,
that's it.
That has to be it. Like, you cannot be given that many chances, that particular team. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? Let them add another midfielder, though. I mean, they've got someone like Donny van de Beek, who came in, and now he's a player that we need. We need him to come.
He would have done well there. I thought he would have done well with
that.
He went there, and he's just like Ollie. When a player comes in like that, who has shown that they can be a very high caliber player, when they come in and they don't succeed, it's very easy to kind of call out the player as a flop or they didn't make it in that league. But you've also got to put it on the manager. Like, the system needs to play to the strengths of creative sparks like Van de Beek. And I'm shocked that he's not even getting a look in. He's not. So I think it's ludicrous that they want another midfielder, but I think it will probably be someone a bit more defensive.
The defensive midfielder. I think they're looking for someone like Camavinga or now apparently there was some rumors that it wasn't true at all about Shermani. We'll see what happens over there. But yeah, Donny van de Beek, something has happened there. That it's, I can't believe how this player doesn't get a game time. But then again, people can say, well, Bruno Fernandes is there, so it's very difficult. They more or less play the same sort of role. Let's now move on to the Man City game. Aj, I'll go to you. 5-0 thrashing of Norwich. I mean, seems like they look to be back on track for the time being. Gabriel Jesus playing more as a genuine striker up front. They haven't been playing that for a little while. They're still in the market. I still think they will get Harry Kane. Harry Kane once again missed out on the match against Wolves over the weekend. Spurs obviously won, which we'll touch on as well. But RJ, with Man City, talk me through what you feel about their performance, but also importantly, RJ, Billy Gilmore has now played against Man City and Liverpool, and Norwich has conceded 8 goals. And I tweeted this the other day, and I got a little bit of heat on it. All I said, RJ, was, oof, I think this may be a long loan season for this particular player. I didn't say anything that, Norwich is going to get relegated. No, he's going to have a poor loan spot.
Miz hates Billy Gilmore.
Nothing like that. All I said was, wow, this kid is going to have a long season on loan over there because they're just letting in goals left, right, and centre. But yeah, RJ, what's your thoughts on Man City and Billy Gilmore?
Yeah, geez, they looked pretty hot, didn't they? They came out firing in the blocks, and I felt, look, the first goal, it's an own goal. That's what an ugly way to concede. It wasn't even going in, and poor Tim Krul's flapped his arm and it deflected. He's just trying to make a save. It's just instinct. So very unlucky. But that's, you know what? You create your own luck because City were in the right position. They're putting in the right ball across goal in that dangerous area where it becomes a bit of a lottery in the sense of the ricochets and deflections can go anywhere. And as it turned out, it went perfectly to kickstart their dominant display that afternoon. But I felt City are warming up, and I dare say I feel sorry for whoever their next Premier League opponents are, Scott. So
yeah, I'm sure you do.
With that one.
I'm sure you do.
So if it's 5-0 against Norwich, then who knows what it can be against Arsenal. But in all seriousness, I've got to say, they looked like a team that realised that last week was something that's just not up to their usual high standards. Like they weren't coming out and playing, like you said, Scott, about the purpose in possession. They were a lot more penetrative, I thought, a bit more direct. And I noticed that they had more bodies in and around those danger areas across the 6-yard box, including like obviously Jack Grealish's, accidental rebound goal. But overall, they just looked really, really sharp. And I felt that, to me, that result against Spurs, that was actually not helpful for the rest of the chasing pack because I would have preferred that they scraped the win. It has because, Pep's really got a rocket up them. And to be frank with you, I think now if they don't land Kane, that's just going to make them even hungrier now to try to prove the point that, okay, you rejected us and we haven't got a striker. We're just going to get this job done without him and prove that we're still the best team in the country. So they are the sleeping giant that people aren't talking about enough. And I know I talked about not being overreactionary and it's one game against Norwich and poor Billy Gilmore's being exposed with his teammates. But Norwich still isn't, in my opinion, that bad that they're going to go get thrashed 5-0 every week. Part of that is just how good City were as well.
RJ.
They've got Leicester next up. So, look, for me, Norwich are going to start getting better assessed, like Arsenal, how they verse us and City. No one's really judging them based on these matches because they're expected losses. Similar sort of sentiment for Norwich. To me, they're going to be caught up in a relegation battle, and that's what's going to separate the haves and have-nots against the results they get in those crunch clashes. But yeah, very blue hot from Manchester City.
By the way, Drick Ronham, thank you for clarifying this. I actually didn't watch the Spurs game because I was watching the Man United game. So I didn't know Harry Kane came on in the second half. I had no idea.
Yeah, he missed a one-on-one.
Right. This now puts a bit of a spanner whether he's going to leave or not. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's just...
He probably missed it deliberately.
It was a good save, to be fair. It was a good save.
Look, it makes me think that maybe Harry Kane's just accepted the fact that maybe it's not going to happen this season. I mean, Scott, Man City next up for Arsenal. Expect a loss? Just L? Shall we just put an L?
Again, what I said to you guys in the preview to the Chelsea-Arsenal game. Expecting a loss, hoping for something to happen.
I just got that L up already.
It's expected.
Cut to the chase.
Again, for them, they should be beating us. But stranger things have happened. And we are welcoming some players back. Looks like we're getting the COVID out of the camp. So we'll have our
profile's different too, Scott. They don't have that Lukaku bully up front.
Yeah,
well, so their defenders might have a better time trying to use their mobility.
Don't give them.
I'm trying to give him hope.
You're a good mate. Thanks.
They're gonna ping the ball around so quickly. The Arsenal team will not know what hit them. I'm telling you.
If Spurs can beat them, if Spurs can get a result against them, why can't we? And speaking of Spurs, super quickly, 2 back-to-back 1-0 victories for them. It's Nuno, good start, but then not knocked out, but lost their opening Conference League match, which was pretty funny as well. So
I don't think they really care about that, do they? I don't think they really care about that one.
No, well, when you haven't won a trophy in a very, very long time, you care about it.
But they were lucky against Wolves, man. Like, not lucky. That's not fair to say lucky.
Mate, you make your own
I
luck.
heard Adama Traore had a lot of good opportunities to get an equaliser.
You should have seen this pass. I think it was João Moutinho just played this beautiful curve through ball, and he's 1-on-1, and he had all the time in the world, and he just fluffed it. Oh, good save, but he fluffed it. They should have gotten at least a point out of that game.
It's a good point, though, Scott. Let's talk a little bit about Spurs. Obviously, we touched on Man City, touched on Billy Gilmore as well. Let's talk a little bit about Spurs. I'll go to you, RJ. 2 out of 2 wins. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think anyone gave them a chance to come off the blocks like this. Kind of expected them to... Who did they play first one? Man City. Obviously, it's Man City. Everyone expected Man City to win. This one, Wolves. Okay, fair enough, maybe. But, Nuno going back to the Molineux... could have been hostile environment, whatnot. 2 out of 2 wins, RJ. I mean, should we be a little bit concerned as to where this is going, or Spurs will do what Spurs normally do? They will start crumbling very, very soon.
Oh, look, I wouldn't be concerned, but I think if we were someone that was battling for that top 6 spot, which that's not our expectation, let's put that on the table. But I would be concerned if we are chasing the tail end of that back 6 area, because, I rate him as a manager. I'm not saying he's in the top tier elite, but I think he's done a good job at his time at Wolves. And so far, he's really managed to galvanise Spurs despite all the Kane distractions. And, the result against City, well, it was a really rugged type of affair, but it was hard earned. And that seemingly has propelled them and given the team a bit more confidence to go out and get the result against Wolves, which, again, I thought they probably rode their luck a little bit. But Scott said you make your own luck. And I agree with that to an extent. But that, to me, that sentiment gets truly tested over the long run, because if you're going to keep flirting with that kind of, 50-50, more often than not, you'll get found out on at least a couple of occasions. So I'm not really concerned just yet. But if I was a Spurs fan, you'd have to be thrilled, because out of those first 2 games, 6 points wouldn't be the amount of points I'd be allocating to them. That's for sure.
Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have allocated 6 points either. But once again, I would like to know how Mr. Scott feels being an Arsenal fan. I mean, 2 out of 2 losses, 0 points, and Spurs 2 out of 2 wins, 6 points. How's it going, Scott?
The season's a marathon, boys, not a sprint. And you never know
and
what
you guys don't
happen.
have any, running shoes on. So,
well, hey, time will tell. At the moment, I'll take my bants. I'll take whatever's got to come my way. But boys, it's a long season. Chelsea are going to have a lot of big games.
Scott, who's the better team, Spurs and Arsenal? Who would you say is the better team?
When you say better team, what do you mean? Who has a better squad? Who's
better squad? Once Arsenal has the complete everyone back, who's got the better squad? Considering Kane still stays at Spurs.
Kane still stays at Spurs. Oh, I don't think there's a lot between the two. Honestly, I think the difference maker is their manager.
Yeah,
they've got Nuno. We've got Arteta. I would have taken Nuno over Arteta, but now that we've committed £209 million over the last couple of years to Arteta, I do think we've got to give him a few games after City and Chelsea to kind of show where we're at. So they've got the better manager. They've got a world-class striker. But besides that, one player who's really improved under Nuno, looks like he's got a second wind, is Dele Alli.
Dele Alli.
I can't stand Dele Alli.
I hate the guy. I hate him.
But but he's doing very well. Like he's looking, even in the preseason friendlies, like he's looking like he's a man that's been given a second crack, to be honest, because he kind of found himself a little bit frozen out of the squad, not in favour, and he's been given that second crack. So he's taking it and making the most of it. So he's going to be a big part of their success.
You know, Spurs were always known, you know, poor defense and whatnot, but 2 clean sheets, I believe, right? Clean sheet against Man City, clean sheet against Wolves. By the way, for people that play fantasy Premier League, I just checked some Spurs defenders. They're like 4.5. Some of them are 4.5, some of them are 5. I'm like,
I've got 2 of them.
Wow,
I've got Eric Dyer and Reguilon.
Yeah, I think Reguilon's 5 though. I think Eric Dyer is 4.5 and Davison Sanchez is 4.5. They've got this other player, Jaffet Tanganga. I think he's 4.5 as well. So.
Yeah, the Tanganga. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cheeky
Give it
one.
time, boys. It's Tottenham. Give it time. Don't
Give
worry.
it time. Yes, do take. I mean, disclaimer: I'm no expert. So
general advice.
Orders. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got nearly 150 live right now. Smash the like button. Let's get the likes up to well over 100, guys. We're only about 32 away from 100 likes. It'll be a very good achievement for the stream to get to 100 likes, which would be fantastic. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. We are running wild towards 8,000 subscribers. And check out the boys, the comment right there. They're literally 5 away from 350. Guys, honestly, please, let's help the boys out to get to 350. Right, we've got 150 here. I mean, we just need 5, and you guys are enjoying what the boys are talking about.
They can get us to 500, Biz. We're only asking for 5.
Let's go to 500. The 150, let's all go there and subscribe. I mean, you can see how awesome it is to talk to these boys, and their content is more of this anyway, to be honest. So go out there and subscribe to them. The link is available in the pinned message, readily accessible, and it's also in the description as well. So whichever way, whatever way you want. Boys, before we go to Serie A conversation, which this is what Down Under Football Crew is all about. It's not always going to be everything Premier League. We do want to cover all sorts of football all around Europe, just to keep you guys well informed about many things, and also create a discussion as well, because I feel like there are other great leagues out there, and there's many good stories that's happening. But before we do that, quick takeaway from both Scott and RJ. I'll go to you, Scott, first up. I mean, what would you say one takeaway you kind of took away from this Premier League weekend so far? Obviously, there's still the one game to go. I think Leicester's got West Ham, but what was a standout for you in this particular weekend so far?
I'm not just saying this because RJ and I want those last 4 subs to hit 350, but Lukaku for me, the way that he has come in and he revolutionized your attack in his first game, and he's only been there a week. He's my big takeaway. Sorry to steal that if one of you boys wanted it, but the way he came in and he was that focal point and he opened up space and made everyone else in your attack look so much better. He's my takeaway. He is a guy to watch. He's someone who's going to really cause teams problems this season. That's my big one.
RJ?
Yeah, no, I like that one. So good on you, Scott. I won't bag you as much now, mate. But no, I like to try to be a bit more thematic. And for me, I look at the managers, and what stood out to me in this round, and again, it's all in isolation, is that the top tier managers really know how to get the job done. And I'm talking about the Klopps of the world. I'm talking about the Tuchels of the world. And then you've got the other managers, like you said, with the shiny toys that certainly have all the capacity at their will, but somehow don't manage to get it done all the time. So for me, the key was the real top managers are building something and really getting firing out of the blocks quickly. And then the rest of the managers are a bit in the mixed bag category. So, yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, look, for me, 100% Lukaku and the way we played, it just looks like the evolution of Thomas Tuchel's style from last season. You can just see the boys are getting more comfortable, understanding him a lot more. So obviously, undoubtedly, that is one. But the other one for me, the standout, was Virgil van Dijk. I think Liverpool, beware. I know we've got them next up, and it's going to be a blockbuster game. for me, Virgil van Dijk is a huge difference maker, massive difference maker for them, because he allows them to play the way they play, that high octane rock and roll football, as Scott said earlier. He allows them to do that. So watch this space with that particular defender, because man, he is something, man. I know it was Burnley, and I know before that was Norwich, and he's got Lukaku coming up next, but.
But you know what? Just quickly on that, I have to say, with Liverpool, the one thing we didn't touch on just yet is the fact that despite Van Dijk's obvious improvement to them positionally and just his leadership role he plays, Liverpool still, the way that they play, they still concede chances. Now, it's just up to the quality of the opposition they're versing to really make those chances count. So when they start coming up, not just Chelsea, but when they start versing the Leicesters of the world, or when they start versing Evertons or other quality teams, they're gonna be really tested, I think. So, and that's where I'm keen to see: are we seeing the same Virgil van Dijk that we were used to, or are we seeing just an imitation? But you're right; he's definitely improved them as we speak.
100%, Musa. So this is the comment of the stream so far. Arteta, I will build a team that everyone will want to beat. Contrary to what Thomas Tuchel said, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, I'll beat a team that everyone will fear to play, or build a team that is hard to beat. That's a funny one, Musa. So take a bow, Musa. So everyone, please, round of applause for Musa. So 170 of you guys, please give it up for Musa. So thank you so much. I mean, don't be naughty next time. Scott's one of our brothers. I mean, I know he follows Arsenal, but let's be nice to him. Come on. He's probably going to take an L against City as well. So just look out for him. I mean, let's get on to the next topic, ladies and gentlemen. Serie A. I do need to talk about some of these games because I know the boys saw a few matches. I know Scott probably hasn't, but still caught up with a few of the final scores and whatnot. RJ's a avid, Serie A follower. You can see the Inter Milan scarves at the back. I'll go to you then, RJ, first up. Some very, very interesting games in Serie A. I'll start with, obviously, I want to keep the whole Tammy Abraham one right at the end. That was a very nice, good feel in that particular match. But Maurizio Sarri for Lazio, I watched that match against Empoli. He's looking good, man. And I tweeted this out a few days ago. What was it? Yeah, on Saturday maybe, saying that if Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and I know recently there was a tweet saying that he may stick around because we do need that cover in midfield. So Ruben Loftus-Cheek probably might stick around. But if there was that odd chance that he was to leave, I wouldn't mind him going for a loan to Lazio. The way Sarri was setting it all up, and it was just his first game, so they're only going to get better and better. Milinkovic-Savic was different gravy, man. He was something else. Box to box. He's got the height to threat up front as well, aerially. He's got the footwork, the technicality. Without the ball, excellent in defense. Akpo on the other side, the other 8, I don't think is that great. I know Luis Alberto is their main guy, but he's been injured. Lucas Leiva, not really that Jorginho style of regista, but still does a job. But Pedro and Felipe Anderson were constantly dropping from wing into midfield to support the build-up. And then they were quickly bombing forward to help out Ciro Immobile as well. I mean, that team is looking nice. And as I was saying, if Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if there was an opportunity, probably should link up with Sarri. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of respect for the way Sarri manages because he's obviously very, very fixed. And with his convictions, he believes in his style and won't budge for anybody. But provided he gets the right personnel he can mold and work with, he can really dominate his opposition. He can really basically pass them into submission, essentially, and just really focus on keeping them pinned down and just, like I said, strangle them from a possession perspective and just completely wipe out their energy. Milinkovic-Savic, like you said, had a really strong game, but even, like I said, my Italian scarf there somewhere, Ciro Immobile, I haven't got the biggest raps on him on the international stage, but back in club world, He really
different.
knows how to perform. He
Yeah.
understands the different types of profiles that he's coming up against, and he works really well with his midfield three behind him. And I felt the fact that now that with Sarri coming in, I feel like that's going to refine his game. But with Loftus-Cheek just bringing a Chelsea Premier League sort of theme in here, I think there's a lot of opportunity for some of these fringe players, if you want to call them that, in some of these bigger Premier League clubs or even non-big clubs, to really go over there and follow the example of the likes of Lukaku, because technically speaking, the Serie A is very uncompromising, and it really teaches you the fundamentals of the game and to improve your all-round awareness, ability, your positional, all of those different elements, not just about the raw pace and power of the Premier League. And the competition between the top six clubs there in the Serie A is continued to, you know, like you said, your Romas, your Napolis, your Lazios, your Inters, your ACs, your Atalanta, Sassuolo. You're getting a good mix of teams in that competition, and competition breeds improvement. So, just wrapping up the overall Lazio performance, really strong. I'm mindful against Empoli, so it's still early days again. But
you know what, Ajay? Empoli
good.
wasn't bad. Empoli was
No,
not
they weren't bad. They weren't bad.
Yeah.
But Lazio thoroughly deserved the result. So I'm really keen to see how Sarri does over there, and as well as our old boy, Mr. Tammy Abraham.
Yeah,
100%.
We will definitely touch on that. But Scott, just quickly, I know you guys were keen on Locatelli, who ended up going to Juventus. I mean, is one, I want to know from you, I mean, is the Italian league a particular league that you follow a lot as well? And also, I mean, why don't Arsenal look for certain gems from there? Because they've got some quality players there, man. I mean, you guys have spent 129 million, and I feel like you could have done a bit of a trick, and you just looked on those areas. But I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah.
If the rumours are to be believed, we put in a financially stronger offer for Locatelli. But at the end of the day, he's a proud Italian. He's just come off a Euro tournament with the Italian team. And Juventus are probably the club that everyone wants to play for over there. So, you know, I
think these Italian players, they don't want to leave either, do they?
Well, it's the pathway to the national team, boys. It's
correct.
99%. Yeah.
And they have so much respect for the national team and want to play for it that, you know, it didn't matter what we threw at him. He wasn't coming. And if a player doesn't want to come, you can't just keep chasing ghosts. You know what I mean? So, look, he would have been good. He came on very late today. Aaron Ramsey started, old Arsenal boy, in that Juve result. But I know, and didn't catch all this, caught some highlights, but a 2-2 result for Juventus against Udinese. I'm sure they'd be disappointed with that, especially old mate Cristiano.
Yeah. I mean, there's some rumors going around. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Apparently, he's not wanting to be in the team named for their champions. I don't know whether this is true. Is there any rumors of Cristiano Ronaldo leaving at all, RJ, or is he fixed on staying at Juventus?
Well, it just depends who you believe, because he came out recently and basically, you know, irrevocably refuted them, saying, this is, poor journalism. Nobody's consulted me about it. Stop slandering my good name, essentially. But as they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's just where's the fire coming from? Is it from PSG, Real Madrid? These are some of the Manchester City. These are some of the clubs that, you know, are easy news for reporters to throw out there. I wouldn't be surprised, because Juventus, while they're financially sound, the reality is he is on the tail end, despite him being in good form. I would just think, though, personally speaking, he sticks around at least one more season.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this is his last season, isn't it? Like, he will be on a free.
But I think this would be it. Exactly. I don't think they'd renew him, though. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I don't think he probably wants renewal as well. As Brent Smith's saying, he is probably going to go to PSG for banter. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? I've always wondered how Ronaldo and Messi would be in one team, and if it ever happens, oh my God, Oh my God! If it ever happens, Ronaldo and Messi in the same team, I think
Speaking
the world deserves to see that as well. The world deserves to see that, and only one team can do that, and that's PSG.
Boys,
For
be
some reason,
careful. Be careful. See, I would like to see it because my team's not playing in the Champions League. Do you really want to see it, Miss?
I think we probably still beat them, man. I
No.
swear we would beat them.
A
Get
star
out.
team,
We'd
a
beat
star
them. We'd
team
beat
is
them.
greater than a team of stars. Don't forget it.
We'd beat them, bro. I just want to see them for that glamour, I suppose. But let's be honest, Cristiano Ronaldo is what? He's 36 plus, isn't he? He's going to be 37.
Hey,
Messi will be, I think, 35 or 30 something.
can you imagine the punch-ups for a free kick or a penalty between those two?
Surely Ronaldo does not take free kicks. Please leave it to Lionel Messi. He's still got the goods, but maybe the penalties, Ronaldo. They could share. I'll take the
Yeah,
penalties. You
man.
take the free kicks. We'll compromise.
Could they
right?
share? Who knows? Who knows?
And then Sergio Ramos, the great equalizer, comes in to break things up. Oh my God,
The
what
bullet
is
header.
going on there? What is going on there? RJ, let's talk about Tammy Abraham. I saw the match of Roma. Very impressed. And I want him to keep building like this with Jose Mourinho. It seems like Tammy is being loved over there as well. The teammates are coming to him. The fans were all wild as well. I mean, I think Tammy needs that too. He's always, I felt that he needs that sort of pampering a little bit, that love and whatnot. He's not one of those guys that I'm focused. I know what I need to do. I'll just go out there and do it. He does need that backing and whatnot, which is fine. That's great. 2 assists, good assists as well. I mean, this is good news. We've got that buyback clause as well, just in case he turns out to be a superstar. But what's your feel about Tammy Abraham playing under Jose Mourinho and also for a team like Roma?
Yeah, I think it's actually a very good piece of business all round for all involved, to be honest. It's good for Chelsea because he wasn't favoured by Tuchel. We have the buyback for insurance if he comes good. And on that, I know, again, it's only one display, but I think he's going to be really hard to contain over there. Similar, but different to Lukaku in the sense of he's a very vibrant, physically gifted specimen. And I think he's going to use that height, that pace, that that unpredictability of his frame to really get in the faces and really disrupt that well-drilled and well-organized, natural Serie A defender. But I think for me, he's only going to improve his understanding, again, like how Conte helped Lukaku understand the basics of the game and really focus on the 1%ers. It's those 1%ers that Tammy, at his tender age, is going to benefit profoundly from someone like a Mourinho. But even look at this game, for example. Fiorentina enjoyed the lion's share of the ball and thoroughly outpassed Roma, but Mourinho knows that you can do all that. We're going to absorb it, and we're going to hit you, and we're going to hit you where it hurts. And I think with someone
Classic
like
Mourinho.
Tammy, classic Mourinho, and you saw that because he was very powerful for his influence, Tammy. And I think the more they work together, this could be a really good move, and Rome is going to be the direct beneficiary. But in a few years' time, because he's only very young still, Tammy, the door, I wouldn't say, is necessarily shut forever on a Chelsea return one day, but baby steps, early days, and I think he's looking very hot at the moment.
I mean, Lukaku came back when he's 28. Well, he's going to be, I think, 29 next year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, yeah, it is by no means finished product yet. I wouldn't believe so at all. I mean, Scott, do you guys somewhat now regret the fact that you should have put some money and just got this particular man? Because Tammy, apparently before he left and he announced to the teammates that he's gone to Roma, he said, I was waiting for that Arsenal offer to come. It just didn't come around. He really wanted you guys.
Yeah, I can't see Chelsea having made it easy for us to get him. To be completely honest, you tend to only see players coming from Chelsea to Arsenal when it's someone you don't really want anymore. Yeah.
When it's David Luiz.
Look, I think it would have been a very complex deal to do. I would have liked him. Quite frankly,
I really think you guys would have benefited of him. You really would have.
It's just a matter of Chelsea not wanting to strengthen a rival. Now, even though Chelsea didn't perceive him as good enough and he had no pathway into your team, which, look, it's a nice problem for you guys to have. You've got a lot of talented youth that you can be really selective with who makes it. I would have liked him in our team, but I just don't think Chelsea were going to make that deal a reality for Arsenal. Even if we put in the bid, I could see Chelsea playing
150 million
Why
pounds.
wouldn't you guys go overs on that? Like, you guys went overs, I feel, for Ben White. Why wouldn't you go overs for Tammy Abraham?
Who knows? We've got a striker that we're paying, 250,000 a week or something crazy like that.
240, I think.
It's something huge that Aubameyang's on. So I think we probably just didn't get the players out in time. Like, Xhaka's move didn't materialise. Bellerin's move hasn't materialised. No one wants Willian. So, unfortunately, I just don't think we've got
Scott, didn't say, like, I think they're
There
similar
is
profiles.
no way. By the way, Scott, this very good point that I just... Where's this Calvert-Lewin links coming from? I cannot imagine this player going to Arsenal.
I can tell you exactly where they're coming from.
Borg.
The back of my dream.
Scott Borg.
They're coming from my dreams. I dream of a Dominic Calvert. I have a dream that Dominic Calvert-Lewin pulls on the Arsenal jersey because our whole attack is based around crosses. But we've got the world's shortest striker in Lacazette, and we've got Aubameyang who doesn't fancy using his head to score too often. Put Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the front for us. We're a different beast.
I can't have that. I love Dominic Calvert-Lewin too much. I cannot see him in an Arsenal jersey. I can't. No way.
I don't understand how we're on the Serie A and we've come back to Arsenal 3 times. I'm trying to move forward. You boys keep dragging me back.
Tammy Abraham got you guys up. We were talking about Serie A, but Tammy Abraham got it there.
He was never an Arsenal player, so I don't know why the Arsenal fans getting questions on him.
Never will be.
No, but this whole Dominic Calvert-Lewin thing I saw recently, and I was like, "What? Arsenal? Are you kidding me? Why are you thinking about going to?" I don't know whether the rumors are true.
He's a fan. He was an Arsenal fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his family Arsenal fans. He's an Arsenal fan.
How much would he command, though? Like, realistically, just for argument's sake, what's the market value on transfer market or whatever? What would his fee command?
RJ, I think he's still got about 3 or 4 years left in his contract. He's on a long-term contract in Everton, and I think, just like Harry Kane is a brand force.
Calvert-Lewin's on an Arsenal fan. My head slipped. I thought you guys were on Tammy.
Yeah, Tammy's an Arsenal fan.
Calvert-Lewin's on an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. I was like, well, Calvert-Lewin, Arsenal. But yeah, RJ, Calvert-Lewin's got quite a bit of time left. And just the way Harry Kane is a brand for Spurs, I think Calvert-Lewin's a massive brand for Everton, man. He's become a brand over there, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So I would say he would be anywhere close to at least... I mean, if West Ham wants 100 million for Declan Rice, and that's a DM, how much do you think Dominic Calvert-Lewin be? Who's paying?
In 2025 is his contract. I just checked then. So good luck. I'm wrestling him out of that.
Yeah. Dominic Calvert-Lewin already first 2 game weeks. Goal. 2 goals. 2 out of 2 matches.
Look, I don't see it happening. I'd like it, but let's be realistic, boys. It's a minimal chance.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be hell expensive as well.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this particular show. A few things to note. First of all, we're 10 likes away from 100 likes for the show, which will be very, very good milestone. So, guys, please help us out with 100 likes for the show on the stream. So 10 likes away. Let's get that happening. We still got 142 live right now. Secondly, check out the boys, the message right there. They're 2 away from 350, but there's 140 of you guys. So please go out there and subscribe. The link is in the pin message right now for It's a Football Thing podcast YouTube channel. The boys run the show over there. So go out there and subscribe. And the link is also in the description. And if you're here for the first time as well, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to The Other Side of the Coin. We are trying our best to get to 8,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. So make sure you do that. Someone said Fab tweeted. What did he tweet? Let's see. Let's bring this up. What did Mr. Fabrizio tweet? Is it something groundbreaking?
Calvert-Lewin to Arsenal via
Calvert-Lewin to
Borg, I
Arsenal.
think he said.
Chelsea working on outgoings to try again for Jules Koundé, as reported yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, look, live chat. It's news we know. It's news we know. Rabbi Lamba. These
on the West
reporters
Ham,
just keep recycling the same thing. I know that news from Jules Koundé literally 5 days ago because that's all they've been tweeting. Tell me something new about the Jules Koundé situation. Everyone is saying we need to get rid of some of our players, which we are, and then we'll go with Jules Koundé. So it is what it is. Until I hear Jules Koundé is one step away and here we go, let's not really, because all the other news I've already heard. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We are one away from 100 likes. I think it'll get there anyway. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. And until next time, next week, the boys will be back again. See ya.